We just spent the day in the Ford Explorer. We took it off-road. We did a drive on the roads. We used Blue Cruise. And I'm going to take you through all of the interior details, show you what this new multimedia system is like. I'm going to climb in the third row and show you what it's like to get in back there. And I'll even show you the secret marker of where the button is to open the lift gate. Don't forget to follow along on our social channels. Go over to agirlsguidetocars.com. See what else we have. We have more stories and more details on the 2025 Ford Explorer. And when you see a video pop up in this corner, we picked that just for you. We selected something that we think that you're going to like. And then, of course, subscribe right here on YouTube. I'm so excited to show you this car. This is the OG SUV, one that we all fell in love with when we first had kids. This is the Ford Explorer. It's refreshed, it has a lot of new details, a lot of new standard features, and a simplified trim lineup so it's easier to choose the one you want for 2025. So this is the Platinum Edition. This is not actually the top of the line. You might think Platinum, top of the line. It is not. Each of the four models have their own unique characteristics. So on the Platinum, you'll notice there is actually platinum. So it's not actually platinum, but it is this chrome detail on the front grille. And then ours has black and white. So it has a black roof and it has black cladding over the wheels. I really love the black and white look. It's very sharp and it almost has I love sort of the dressiness of black and white. It gives you almost that sort of tuxedo effect. And then we have black roof rails here. So it looks really good. And now we're going to go off-road. And I use the air quotes because we're actually going to drive on a trail that is not paved. We've been on dirt roads a lot today. So we're going to take it on, they're calling it an off-road course. It's not actually an off-road course. It's a trail. But if you have a mountain house, a lake house, if you go to places where the terrain is not paved, say a ranch or a lot of parks don't have paved roads anymore. Actually, pavement is really not great for the environment. These dirt, gravel, graded roads are actually much better for our environment. So it's better that our cars are equipped rather than we spend a lot of time and money paving these roads. And it's going to be easier to go places. So that's what these off-road settings are really ideal for. Can they climb the rock faces in Moab? They might be able to with some modification to the system. That's not really what this is designed for. This is designed to get you over those miles, several miles of backcountry unpaved roads or across a field with complete capability and comfort and not have to worry about your car getting stuck in the mud or something like that. So we are in off-road mode. Means our all-wheel drive is functioning. That means there's power to all four wheels. So this is our off-road experience. It's not super challenging. We don't have big hills and water fording and stuff like that. This car is capable, if we wanted to do those things, if I wanted to get a little crazy, they don't want us to do that. They want us to stay on the trail. So that's what we're going to do. But here's the good news, is it's capable of going pretty fast. So if you have, say, a long trail that you need to get maybe up a road to a mountain house or through some muddy, rutted roads with a boat, you can do it. And it's not going to take you all day. Before I hop in and show you around the front seat, I want to show you the Easter eggs. So first of all, this is the Detroit skyline. And this building over here, this is the Michigan train station. This is the building that Ford bought and is renovating to turn into a tech center. You'll also see another Easter egg over here on the corner of the windshield. That is the Ford Explorer, a little silhouette of the Ford Explorer. But wait, there's more. On the passenger side, you'll also find the Chicago skyline right there because the Ford Explorer is built in Chicago. And then over here, you will find all the generations of Explorer models right here in this little side pocket next to the passenger seat. So there's the first, and the second, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth generation, and now we are driving the sixth generation. But let's hop in and see what this car is all about. And before I do that, I want to point out this to you. So here are seat controls. This will move the seat forward and back. This moves the seat back. And then I'm going to show you what this baby does, because this is important. And it's a detail in our Platinum model. So I want you to notice these opening graphics. That is the Platinum model grille right there on the front driver display. And then you'll see the Explorer logo here with a nice graphic as well. And now I'm going to start her up. And you'll get a lot of information here. This is customizable, the driver display. This is our Blue Cruise camera, and this camera is not taking any pictures. It's not recording anything. It's just making sure that your eyes forward, just like your teacher did in third grade. Sound familiar? The multimedia screen here gives you a lot of features. So here's the home button, and this gives you maps and then some basics. You can add a phone, and here's your audio settings. You can go to vehicle settings here, and I'll go through that in a second, because first I want to go over here to the apps. So this comes standard with Google Maps. There is the Google Play Store and Google Assistant. Many car makers have eliminated Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if they give you all of these Google functions. Ford did not do that. So you still have Apple CarPlay, you still have Android Auto, and you have Alexa. So you can use Alexa. Hey, Alexa. So I'd have to sign in. But once you've signed in, you can use Alexa to do anything that you would use Alexa for. So if you subscribe to your music there, you can stream your music using Alexa. You'll also find in here towing information, hotspot. There is YouTube and WebEx. So you can actually watch YouTube on the screen when the car's not moving. And you can use WebEx to do video calls. Again, while the car's not moving, you can see the video call. If the car's moving, you only get the audio. And then there are games, and you can actually sit and play a game here in the car and get the full screen, which is really nice. And then it doesn't really do much if you touch it, but if you need to get out of it, just swipe over and you can go back to your apps or to your vehicle settings. So that little button on the side of the seat that I showed you, that is a massaging seat. So you can tap that button, or you can go to the screen and you can increase your massage level. You can set it for the passenger as well, or you can go back to your driver massage and you can just shut it off. If you decide that you do not want that, I can just tap it off. Or you can just tap the button on the side of the seat, which is really nice. And then we also have here, there's ambient lighting, so we can set up ambient lighting. We can change the colors however we'd like to see it. And it shows you here where the lighting is inside the door panels and the front dash here. So it lines the dash. Can't really see it right now because it is just too bright outside. And then there's valet mode, so you can set this up. And then there are vehicle settings here as well. Another thing I want to show you is this. Under vehicle settings, there is assistant and voice. And this is where you're going to set up the Hey Google. So if you don't want that function, or if you buy this car and you're sitting there saying, Hey Google, Hey Google, Hey Google, and it's not working, it's probably not turned on. So go to vehicle settings, assistant and voice, digital assistant app, and that's where you turn it on. You can also turn on or off personal results in this car. You can sign into your Google account on this car, and it will connect to your account. So you can really personalize the whole experience in the Ford Explorer, in the Platinum, in all of them, I think. I want to bring your attention to this little guy right here. This little A with the seat is blue. So, and I want to show you this temperature control here. Let's see if I can. Okay, so now see the seat is white, but if I tap it down, it goes to blue. And you know what this means? This means that this seat is designed to measure the temperature of the person sitting in the seat. And in order to keep me comfortable, it will adjust the seat to the temperature that I've set the cabin. So if I've set the cabin at 68 degrees, it's fine. But if I turn the temperature down, say I feel it's too hot, I want it to be 66 degrees, not only ambient air in the cabin, but also my seat temperature will both feel 66 degrees. Isn't that the coolest thing? There is the dial style gear selector here with low gear there in the center, parking brake. This is our drive mode selector. So let's see. So as I turn that dial, it toggles through the different drive modes and gives me a little graphic so I can see normal, eco, sport, tow and haul, or there's normal or slippery and off-road. Over here to the left of the steering wheel is where we'll find our headlight function. You can see them there. And this is where you're going to open the lift gate. Down here, there is a volume dial for the radio. And then there's some key functions here. This is brake hold. And so this, once you have this on, when you have you put your foot on the brake, the car will not creep forward. Traction control is here. Here is our camera system. So we have this full camera system, and we can actually customize what we see with using our camera system here. And then I can turn that off. Our emergency flashers are there. Our parking chimes, that's all that little button does, is it lets you turn on or off the parking chimes. And then here's the auto stop start. You can turn that on or turn that off, which I'll leave it on. The passenger side has a little pocket there. We don't have that, but what we do have is there's a nice little storage area here and a nice deep well with 2 USB charge ports there. 2 USB charge ports in here. So we've got 2 in the front, 2 in here, 2 in the second row, and 2 in the third row for a total of 8. So we're in the Platinum Edition, and it has this light gray interior. There are other choices, and Ford actually worked to make the choices subtly different. So we do have this light gray, which I love. It just opens the cabin. We have this kind of standard headliner here, nothing fancy. Quilted leather seating, which is fancy. These are massaging seats. They're cooled and vented as well. But I want you to notice what Ford did with the center console area. So we have what they call a drop zone, and that means this is where you can pop your water bottle, your coffee cup. There's a little panel under here where you can pop in a phone. You can stow your charge cords in here and then just plug in your phone when you need to. Or you can use the optional wireless charger here. There's actually space to put 2 phones right here. So if you need to put 2 phones side by side, absolutely you can do that. Then there's this nice linear dashboard here, which has wood, open pore wood here, which feels really nice. There's a nice metal surround here and this leather surround here. And then there's this, and this is the sound bar. So they took all the speakers that normally would be hidden throughout the car, and they optimized them for sound inside the car. Now there's speakers in the door panels, there's speakers in the rear, but most of them are right here in the sound bar. This is something that we saw in other cars. We saw this in the Volvo EX30. And what Volvo said, and I'm sure that Ford has the same approach, which is fewer speakers, way less carbon footprint to produce them, less carbon footprint to operate them. Overall, more efficient use of time, space, and money and resources to put all of these speakers into this sound bar. So we're going to listen to this on our test drive and see what this sounds like. And then there's some buttons up here. So we do have the sunroof control, so we can open or close the sunroof. And then we have the screen over the sunroof, which is controllable right here. And then we have our dome lights here. 1, 2, 3, 4 light controls right here. And then this one just controls all of them. And then, of course, the sunglass holder, and then the visor with the mirror. And on the visor is where you'll find the garage door opener. You can sync that with your garage door and use that to open your garage door at home. It's really a very lovely interior. Ford did a beautiful job with the front seat. So we're on the highway in southern Michigan, and in the 2025 Ford Explorer, the first one to have Blue Cruise. And what is Blue Cruise? Blue Cruise is hands-free driving. So what I want to do is get to the speed that I would like to maintain. So all I'm going to do is get to the speed that I want and tap the adaptive cruise button, and I'll see down here it's blue. So once I tap the Blue Cruise button, I do have to keep my hands on the wheel until I get the hands-free blue steering wheel, because Blue Cruise is two components. One is, I'm watching, it's going to tell me to watch the road. One of the components is adaptive cruise control. So the system will set me at the speed keep me at the speed that I've set and adapt to traffic that's ahead of me. The second part of it, though, will allow me to take my hands off the road, and it will follow the lanes of the road at wherever there are turns or whatever in the road. And it only works on certain roads, limited access mapped roads. It's not self-driving, it is assisted driving. The other feature that it has is it will help to center you in your lane, and then it will center you with considering other vehicles. So if you're next to a truck that's, say, coming close to the dotted line, it will center you there. It will center you between that vehicle and the vehicle on the other side, or the lane on the other side. And then it will also change lanes for you. So all I have to do when I'm using Blue Cruise, all I'm going to do is tap my turn signal, and it will change lanes for me. So in the second row, there are a lot of nice features for second row passengers too. So first of all of our climate controls are here. There are 2 USB ports here, plus a household outlet. I love the household outlet. And then there's even a little pull-out cup holder here where you can stow a cup holder or a bottle. Let me see if my big-ass bottle will fit there. Yeah, it does, actually. It's not great, but it actually has this little stretchy panel on the side to accommodate a large bottle, and my large bottle fits. My large bottle, will it go in over here? Yes, it will. It'll go in over there. Will it go in over here? Yes, it will. It'll go in that panel too. So very happy to say my large bottle will fit in all of the cup holders. So those are kind of nice details. And then this is set for me, and I'm 5'8", and I have just enough leg room here. And I'm wondering how comfortable this is going to be for installing child passenger car seats. And so allow me to dig out my handy dandy tape measure, and let's see how the Ford Explorer is going to fit child passenger car seats. So I'm going to measure shoulder to shoulder, seat back to seat back, and I find exactly 29 inches. So just a minute ago, I had this seat set for somebody who's 6 feet tall and pushed it back, and it was way too far back for me. But now, with it set for me, and I'm 5'8", I get a full 32 inches shoulder to shoulder, seat back to seat back. So that means if you need to put a child passenger car seat rear facing behind someone who's 5'8", you got plenty of room. Look how far back this seat is. So this is set for someone who's much taller, maybe even like 6'2" or 6'3", and you're still gonna have plenty of room. So I've got 27 inches here. You're still gonna have plenty of room for a child passenger car seat. You're not gonna have room with it this far back for a rear-facing child passenger car seat. The good news about kids' car seats is there are 4 full sets of latches. There are 2 lower here on these center row seats, and there are 2 full sets on the rear seats. So you can install 4 child passenger car seats in the rear of the Ford Explorer, which I think is really a very thoughtful and considerate thing, considering so many families opt for a Ford Explorer as their daily driver. What other features will rear seat passengers find happy and helpful? Well, right here we have air vents in the ceiling, which is nice. There are coat hooks here. There's one on either side. There are dome lamps here, so you can just push the button and turn the light on. Like we talked about, there's 2 cup holders there, one in the bottle, one in the lower pocket, one here. So room for 4 bottles, and it fit my large bottle. So my bottle's pretty big and it fit just fine. And then in our Platinum Edition, we have manual sunshades. I love this feature for my dog. My dog I'll put the sunshade up, I'll put the window down. He gets the wind in the face without being able to put his nose out the window. And I really like that. And then just clean it up with a baby wipe after to get all the dog slobber off of it. And I really love this feature. Although I will say, if you're not using it, if the passenger in the back seat isn't using it, put it down because it's hard to see through when you turn to look over your shoulder to merge onto the highway. It does limit your visibility a little bit. But I like having that. I love the air vents in the ceiling, which is standard across all trims. And we have air vents in the ceiling for the second row and for the third row, which is really important for third row passenger comfort. So there's a couple of cool features. One is there's this nice little pad right here for your foot. So there definitely is some place to put your foot to climb into the third row. I could go easy and use the pass-through, or I can do it the hard way and climb in here, which I'm going to do. And it's not all that bad. Now, I will say this is a great third row for people who are short or smaller passengers, because look where my knees are. So my knees are at a pretty high angle for sitting in the third row. But if you have one passenger back here, it's actually really comfortable to have this pass through right there. And let's see if I can I pull the seat back? Oh, yes. So all I got to do is pull this seat back, and it automatically or naturally sets to sort of a middle position there. So here's what my knees look like behind the seat back. I do have room for my feet underneath the footwell, and my knees are not touching the seat, and I'm 5'8". So I do have enough space, but I'm 5'8". I'm going to be more comfortable in the center row or the front seat. But you know, your 5th grader is going to be very happy and very comfortable back here. Another thing that I'll tell you I really like about this third row is it has 2 full sets of car seat latches. There are lower anchors here, and there are lower anchors over here. And then, of course, there are the upper tethers on the back of the seat. So you have 4 full sets of latches, 2 here and then 2 in the outboard seats. 4 full sets of latches for installing child passenger car seats, which I'm going to measure and show you what that looks like to install child passenger car seats. What else do passengers get back here? Well, it's pretty good. So we have cup holders here. There's a little storage space here. 2 USB-C ports, and actually a nice little place where you can pop a phone. We have a window here on either side, and then we have air vents and a dome light here. So backseat passengers, those sweaty soccer players who pile into your car at the end of the day, they have air on them. You turn that air up and you don't have to smell them. And that's a lovely thing. And then put that there. And there we go. So I did climb into the third row earlier by sliding and tilting the seats forward, which I'm actually going to do again because there is a button here. And I want you to see how the seat slides and tilts forward. It slides and tilts forward to give you enough space to be able to put the seat forward to access the third row while there is a child passenger car seat installed. And then, oof, to get it back into place does take a little bit of muscle, or you can lift the rail on the bottom there and slide it back that way. But I also wanted to show you what it's like to climb into the third row using the pass-through. So these armrests move up and down. They will impede your space just a little bit, but it's okay. I was able to climb through just fine, and I'll be able to get out just fine because the space is really nice. There are 2 seats here in the third row. So if you want to be that passenger who extends her feet out here, you're still going to have to pick a seat. There's no middle seatbelt back here. It is not easy to push that back into place, I will say. You do have to be able to get around. You have to let it reset, and then you've got to be able to get around it. But now I'm going to put it through the ultimate test, and that is, you got your mom sitting here in the passenger seat, and your rabble rouser there in the back thinks he's funny and pushes this button. And here's what happens. Nothing. It will not slide and tilt forward if there's significant weight in the seat. So with a child passenger car seat, which typically runs to about 20 pounds, it will, oh, no, it does. It's not forceful though. If I let it, it will. But if I'm just sitting here, it won't. No, if I'm just sitting here, it won't. So I think a human is going to be fine. But if you allow it to move, it will. So your kids might actually have fun with this. Think about that. All right. I want to show you one last thing, one last detail in the third row. So I showed you the lower anchors here, and then there's upper tethers here in the third row. And then there are headrests. So these headrests are not removable. If you have passengers here, you need a headrest. But if you're putting a child car seat here, you probably don't want that. So you can pull this tab, and these headrests are designed to fold pretty flat. So if you've got a child passenger car seat that has a back to it, that's probably ideal. If you have a child in a booster seat, this should fit their head. You should measure and make sure that this is the ideal position for your child. You don't want this to impede on their head or push their head forward. And you want to make sure that the shoulder belt actually comes to their shoulder and it attaches in the appropriate space so that it's not choking them or too low on their torso. So you want to double check that, and you want to make sure that these are in the right position before you put your child in a booster or child passenger car seat here. The center row headrests, however, are removable. So if you need to remove these to accommodate a child passenger car seat, you can just pop them out. But come here, I want to show you the rear end. So the tail lights are no different, but we do have this light bar here that fades into a gloss black bar that has the Explorer name spelled out here underneath the Ford badge, which, oh, it's raised. It feels kind of nice. And then we have the rear end. We see Platinum on that side, four-wheel drive on this side, because it is four-wheel drive. In the Platinum, you get that standard. And the quad exhaust tips just for a little bit of a badass look. And then if you want to find the button to open the power lift gate, it's on the underneath the second R. There is storage underneath this cargo floor. In fact, you can take all these panels off, or you can just take this one off if you want to put something there. I think like 3 bottles of wine will fit perfectly right there. But you can put whatever it is you want to put there, or you can take off the entire cargo cover, which is really nice. In the Platinum Edition, we do have power seats. And come here, I want to show you. First of all, let me show you this. So we know that the pain of the headrests, right? You have the headrests up because you had people in them, and then you have to think about it because they're not automatic. But I'm driving and I need to see. Well, you just pull these little tabs and the headrests go down. And if you want to put the seats down, there are buttons here. So I can actually push this single button and both seats go down at the same time. If I want to put the center row seats down, I do have to go and do that myself. This is a great car, high-end trim, a lot of great features, but that's not one of them. I will point out though, third row passengers do get air vents up here in the ceiling. There is a light here, and we have cup holders and USB ports over here on the passenger side. So everything that third row passengers need to be comfortable and happy and not complainy in the third row. But now I want to show you what it's like to get into the third row. So I'm going to put these seats up. Now we're on the autocross course, so I hope you can see me a little bit. I'm going to position my seat and wait for the go sign. This is the Ford Explorer ST, and appreciate the helmet hair. They put these helmets on us in case we get into a position where we're not safe. Anytime you're on a track, safety is first. So that's what the helmet is for. And now we're going to go and experience this track for the second time. So now that I know my way around, I'm going to try to drive it a little faster. I had 26 seconds on the clock the first time. Let's see if we can do better and not turn on the windshield wipers. it does hold pretty nicely in every corner. Woo! Okay, still 26 seconds, so I didn't really shave much time off of that lap, but it was all good. So the 2025 Ford Explorer is at dealerships now. You can order one even though it's only July of 2024. It has a starting price of just under $40,000 and tops out at just over $55,000 for the ST version. That's a little bit of a bump up from Ford Explorers from the past. It's a huge bump up in terms of the standard features that you get. Used to be options. And then if you want to subscribe to Blue Cruise, $75 a month if you just buy it on a monthly basis. You only want it for that summer vacation, $75 and you're done. You can also buy it for $800 a year. So yes, it's a subscription, but no, it's not a huge commitment over time. The Ford Explorer has been a family favorite for a long time, and it will continue to be. All these great new features, simplified trim line, and still the top of the line trim under $60,000 delivers a lot for families who need a 3-row, 6 or 7 passenger, full size, almost full size, off-road capable SUV.